Awesome. All right. So good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you guys again with us in this webinar. I'm Bruno, and today I'm very happy to be hosting Dr. Tony Prensa, someone that I met last year in one of those PMI conferences. And I was very impressed with Dr. Tony's trajectory, leading PMOs, leading IT teams, and most recently as the CEO and founder of his own consulting company, sharing his knowledge and his wisdom about PMO and how PMOs can evolve with many other organizations and PMI events and all those things. So it's a pleasure for me, Dr. Tony, to have you here, and I'm sure that we are going to learn a lot from you. But before I shift this conversation onto you, Dr. Tony, I also want to thank everybody who has joined us today, because I said that in my previous webinars, and I want to say again, this is a group of friends, right? So we are not better than anyone else here. The idea is for us to share our knowledge, share our experiences with each other and learning from each other. So if anyone wants to ask questions or, share some insight, share some experience, please feel free to do so. You can raise your hand if you want to ask questions to us or to anyone else, or if you prefer, you can just type your questions into the chat box, and we'll go through them as we progress. I think it's fine if people just jump and ask questions as we go through our conversation this morning, right, Dr. Tony?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's a conversation that we have. It's not really a class, nothing important. So, hey, you mentioned, so we are colleagues and friends. So, those exercise ideas. So, we learn from everyone.
Yes, no formalities, no PowerPoints, just a conversation today. Okay, perfect. So, so Dr. Tony, the topic for today's conversation is how PMOs will survive in the next 5 years, right? So that's something that people are very curious to know, right? And you have extensive experience in helping PMOs and leading PMOs as well, leading IT teams, but also helping organizations in different industries. So I don't want to be underselling your experience here. So I would like to ask you to please introduce yourself so everybody can know what you have done and how you have helped other PMO leaders around the world.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Bruno, for having me today. And thank you for everyone that joined this conversation. So as you mentioned, so my name is Tony. I've been in the industry working since I was very young too. Not reading technology, but I started working when I was 8 years old. So 8 years old, yeah. That was my life and my reality. But I would say by accident, get into IT. Because I wasn't looking for job in that area, but my mom was looking for a job in one agency, and they needed so we need people because they were running the census for that country. So that's why I got into the age of 17 years. So since then I've been so I had I would say the blessing of being working in every role that you can imagine in IT. So there seems data entry, operator, software developer, business analyst, project leader, project management, all the way up to chief information officer for several organizations around the world. So it's not that I am too old, but I said to people, is I started too young. So I have over 40 years of working in different industry, different organizations. But the main learning that I have is about people. I always have been curious about people. And that's my great learning. It's not about technology, management training. And that's the still thing, learning every time that I have opportunity to visit and country or place people to other people. Yeah, that's me. So I have professors. I teach project management, software engineering, for different universities in the country, in US. Um, Again, from Dominican Republic, but I grew up in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So my Spanish accent comes from there. So that's me. So I love to write, so you see a lot of posting from LinkedIn or other social network. That's my passion. So I'm some kind of retired, not really. I work more now than I used to work before. So, and teaching, facilitating courses. I am ATP for PMI also. I'm passionate about the topics of project management office and project management.
That's excellent, Dr. Tan. And you still look very young. So it's just amazing to see how much you have done in throughout your career. Okay, so Dr. Tony, I will jump into a few questions that I have for you. But of course, I will invite the friends who are joining us today. If they do have questions, please, as I said, type into the chat box or raise your hand and ask Dr. Tony directly. So, Dr. Tony, not too long ago, right, we have seen uh, statistics, right? And some of those statistics came from PMI or from other reputable sources like Gartner and all that, talking about the lifespan of a project management office, right? So you see a very famous stat saying 50% of the PMOs they shut down the doors after 3 years, right, or within 3 years of existence, right? And now there is more pressure than ever for those PMOs to evolve, right? And so, from your perspective, what is driving this shift so the PMOs can become more value enable enable units of the business, right? And why it's so crucial for the PMOs to adapt at this point.
Yeah. So what is happening with PMOs is no different from what happened to people. Uh, the job market. So I talk to people every day. Uh, they come to me to see if I can help them to get a job. So I have a lot of relationship with company and people are always asking me for resources. But I would say the first thing is the work changing. The work changing every day. So the first thing I would say is to be so business disruption and digital transformation. That is a lot of pressure in organization to adapt to the new technology because they are forced to do it. So growing organically in any kind of business is almost impossible. So the reasons that they looking to survive and to be competitive in a world that is about how we say in English, they are moving targets. They moving the target. You're shooting a particular target, but in the second minutes, the target is different. So adaptation to the new technology, so the business moving faster, and if you get behind in that movement, so you're gonna become obsolete, so irrelevant. So the other thing is I tell people the bar has been rest. So now, let's say that before you can jump and put the ball in the basket, but now they rest the bar. So the executives are expecting more from you. So that's a tendency. So there's too much pressure. They have in mind other things. So now you need to step up to be at the level that they can look at you and say, okay, you are here to help me. And the other thing is about that is a reality. It's the agilities and adaptability. So we are living a VUCA time. It's vulnerability, uncertainty, complex, and ambiguous world. So that's the reality also. So companies are looking for organizational entities that help them to move to the next level. So those three things I think is the reason that the PMOs are being challenged because when we established everyone started as a process. So I started PMO when we didn't have any pre-management processes around. And that was my mission was to start processing governance structure. That's not the case anymore. So organization, they don't have time for that. They have time for people who need to survive, to succeed in the world that is changing every day for technologies, globalization, that's the things that is happening in the real world.
Okay. So Dr. Tony, being more specific about PMOs, right? What are the biggest threats that you see from your perspective in the next 5 years for PMOs, right? Is going to be artificial intelligence, is going to be, I don't know, the economy that is changing. Um, how do you see uh, what are the factors that could be causing PMOs to shut down in the next 5 years?
Yeah, us. So I will start it also with sleep. And that's no, they say the environments, the micro, macro environment is the PMO itself. So becoming your bureaucratic organization within a company. So that's you. It's not the company. It's you that you are setting yourself for failure. So we don't want that. We don't want a bureaucracy. We want agility. So that's one. The other one, failure to adapt technology like AI, that it is not visual. So a lot of predictions about 2030. So that thing is happening now. So that we can wait for the future. So you need to adapt now, embrace technology, and you need to leverage on what is happening from technology. Adopt AI, adopt all the way of working things. So now it's not about establishing rigid kind of organization. And that's also you, is the PMO leader. So you need to embrace those changes. And the other thing is that you need to go back to it, to your master degree or MBA if you have it. So you need to speak the language of the business, the finance. So you need to understand that. So PMI, they has the in the talent triangle, the business acumen. So you need to embrace that language. So you need to, I tell people, so you need to dance the same rhythm that the executive dance. If you don't dance the same rhythm, so you can dance with them. So in order to become relevant, and also I said a lot about what resonates on them. So if you speak to me in the terms or let's say metrics for project management, so I don't care about that. The projects are on time. The projects are budget. That's your job. That's not my job. But help me to tackle the markets. So tell me about the indicators that I care about: revenues, ROI, sustainability, metrics. So that's the language that I want to hear. If you're talking about something else, no, that's not very enough for me. So I would say those are the biggest threat. It's not the technology of things you. So you need to make that switch. So most of the PMO leaders that I talk every day, so they talk about governance, establishing now there are some certification in PMO governance, project management governance. That's important, but that's not the focus. The focus to be how can you become a business-oriented person, speak that language. So that's the only thing that you're gonna be relevant in your organization.
And that's an interesting comment, Dr. Tony. I interact with lots of other PMO leaders as well, right? And sometimes I have this impression that you are talking about, right? That the PMO leaders are very much managing down, as we typically say, right? Or my job is to manage the project management team. My job is to make sure that the processes for project delivery are up to date, are be followed by all projects, right? But
Right.
what you're talking about is to focus less on managing down and more on managing up, right? So managing my peers, managing my executive team, so I can understand what are they looking for and how the PMO can enable them for success. Is that right?
Exactly. The idea is it's like you want to become the CEO of the organization. So imagine that that's the goal that you have in your company. So what the goal of the CEO is to make sure that the organization is financially stable, is that the organization grow, is the organization touch more lives. So that's the switch that you need to do. when we talk about business acumen, is understanding the not only the system but also the ecosystem with this organization operate. And so you need to think farther than that. So imagine that you're trying to be the CEO of your company. What would you do? So that's the mindset that you need to adapt. So the other things are important because we need processes, we need to run the project, but that's a byproduct of the thing. The mission in your company is to make the organization to succeed. In order to do that, you need to change your mind. So and that take care of everything else. Because first of all, we need to take care of the people that pay the bills. Yeah. So, and that's there's a lot. I like things. So I've been in the C-suite, so as a chief information officer in the organization, so I know the mindset. So all the meeting is about business. So we need to increase our revenues, how we reduce costs, how we improve our customer experience. So we have more, I would say, the customer stakeholder for us, they are more. There's a particular word in that saying. So we want the customer to love us. So I work with a big financial organization, bank, and one of the things that the CEO used to tell us, all the management team, so we are now a transactional organization. We are a relationship organization. So we want to create relationship with our customer. So every time that they think about something that is related to finance, they have a loan for a student loan, for example, they think about us. They want a mortgage loan, they think about us. They have a credit card, they think about us. It's a relationship, it's not a transaction. So the same thing for PMO. So we need to establish a relationship business, not a transactional business. Having projects on time, on schedule, according to the scope is a transaction. Focus on the relationship.
Okay. And Dr. Tony, this is interesting, and I like to be very practical when we are providing these recommendations, right? So people know how to go from zero to the next step, right? So if I'm someone, a PMO leader, and so far I have been very focused on my projects, right? So I have my processes, I have my reports, I have my metrics, and all that. And what you are saying that those reports, those metrics may or may not be exactly what the business or what the executives are looking for. So how do I take the next step then to at least to validate if the information that I'm providing to them is what they're looking for? And if it is not, how can I know what they're looking for so I can shift the way I work, the way my team works as well, to provide that information that they are looking for?
Yeah. So that goes in line with establishing the relationship. So if we are partner in a business, so you and me, we have the same mindset about what we want to achieve. So I understand what are we working on. So I understand what you need and you understand what I need. So establishing those relationships with the executives, understanding their needs, their requirements, their wants, and sometimes the onset requirements, so they don't know everything. So you are there as a complement, as a partner. So you need to help them to resolve the problem. So having those conversations, understanding what they need is how you're going to fulfill those requirements and always be ahead. Is the For that reasons that I said developing your business acumen will help you to understand the industry that you are. We will help you to understand what are the challenges. So you need to do your own SWOT analysis to see where this organization. Imagine that you are the owner of that organization. So you can contribute with the things that sometimes they don't think about something, but when you come and put something on the table, it says, yes, that's what I want to do. And this is the way that we can achieve that goal. So that's the type of things that that our partner wants to see. When we talk about the PMO should be a strategic partner of the Cisco, that's we say about. It's not like a note takers. The other day in a meeting that America was presenting the PMO practice guy, someone was telling here, oh, we need to like do what the customer wants. So I said, well, but for me, that's a reactive position. It's that I can't wait that somebody tell me what to do. So I take it the other way around. We need to be proactive. I am also a contributor of the success of this organization. But for that, you need to understand the ecosystem where this organization operates.
And that's interesting, Dr. Tony. Suppose that I'm working on a very large company, right, that has thousands of employees. Um, I may not have that relationship with the C-level to go to them and say, "Hey, look, let's do portfolio planning together, right? And let's create a roadmap for value realization, all those things, right?" So that would be, more uh, in more mature uh, companies where the PMO has really proved its value, right, and can provide all those things. So. Uh, Typically when I work with other PMO leaders as well, I tell them to start with engaging the project sponsors of the projects that the PMO is managing for them, right? Uh, those individuals are typically, managers or directors or VPs in those organizations, right? But really to try to understand what they're trying to achieve through those projects, right? It's not only, oh, Bruno, I need this new product to be launched by the end of the year, right? Why do you need this product to be launched by the end of the year, right? How this is going to benefit the organization, how this is going to benefit you or your division as well, and try to understand the motivation behind those projects as well, and see how the PMO can support the realization, the materialization of those benefits, right? Sometimes it might be, oh, Bruno, we need to gain more market share, for example. We need to increase our customer base, right? So sometimes this is not something that the PMO has access to this information. It's really knowledgeable to measure that, but the PMO can at very least facilitate the individuals across the organization who can support that, right? So I think the PMO has that facilitation point as well, where you can engage people from finance, from IT, from marketing, from all those other departments to say, hey, look, this project sponsor is trying to achieve this through this project, right? Is there a way that we can help him? Can we have a baseline data that shows, how many customers we have today? So therefore we can measure how many customers we're going to get after this new product is launched, right? So, we are enabling that project sponsor for success. And therefore, if we're doing that, we are building that network of supporters as well, so they can be, telling good things about the PMO. They want to engage the PMO again, and it's go by word of mouth, right? So, all the project sponsors, you are going to be supporting them, and all these things will, help you to build that reputation that will help you at some point be supporting these C-level directly. But it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But it's baby steps, right, to get there.
Yeah, I think the videos or somebody raised their hands.
Yes, Rodrigo has a question. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, it's a quick question. Uh, I don't know. I think I kind of exaggerate. For example, if I say there is a lack of trust in PMOs in general, right, in organizations. And when I look ahead at the next 5 years, I'd like to know what is your impression, what is your opinion about PMOs in general? Do you think organizations are going to keep relying on PMOs in the next 5 to 10 years, or this lack of trusting in PMOs is something that can hinder the PMOs in general in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. About the future. So a lot of predictions around 2030. The other day I was thinking about my Y2K when I work in that project. We a lot of decisions about the algorithm for 2030. So there's a lot of applications. If they haven't changed the application, they're going to have issues. But moving forward, so PMO being I think the new kick in the block, um, it is on us what we deliver and what we do, how we show the risk that we add value to the organization. Uh, so they gonna consider us. I think that we everything that is happening in the PMO world now with PMI as like so project management globally, embracing PMO concept and in the PMI. I think that for more leaders around the world, they will understand the PMO because before, basically us, a small community, know about the PMO and we were begging, hey, listen to us, listen to us. That's how I visualize people in the organization. When I talk to people, they said, "Oh, but they don't wanna, they don't have me in those meetings, so I don't know. Only my boss he can go to the meeting." So he said, "Because you don't, they don't care about you." So the thing is, in order for you to be relevant, so we need to deliver. We need to have those success stories, like Bruno was mentioning. So if you don't have access, because you're not gonna have access to the top of the organization because they don't know you. So what they, I don't have time to wait for with someone that I don't understand what the value. So, but we going to survive in the way that we deliver and we make things happen in the organization. We start establishing those relationships with the influencer. So one of the things that we need to perfect is so our influencing skills. So we say in project management, one of the most important skills is influencing skills. So we need to do that. We need to influence. We need to touch bases with those people until we reach that level. So we have the opportunity to talk to those people and say, hey, I can make things happen. So that you need to also be ready. I talk a lot about the elevator speech. So elevator speech is to we have the opportunity to come across with some of those executives. So you need to say something that resonates from them that they say, hey Rodrigo, I want to talk to you. You told me in the elevator the other day. I don't have the time because I have a meeting with the board. But can you come to my office? Tell me more about it. It's because you said something that resonates on the ears and that's the type of thing that we need to do. So we need to sell, we need to prove ourselves that we deliver value. It's not that the book says, I have hundreds of books of here where everything adding about adding value, but it's execution, is to understand the real needs of the security. That's the gonna keep, and we need to keep update with all the technology. How can we leverage in AI in most of the organizations that I talk and visited, um, they don't have a policy for AI. So no, don't talk to me about AI. So we don't have policies that allow us to do anything with AI. So you as a leader, so you need to influence them and demonstrate that, for example, in the financial sector, they don't want anything with AI. They think that's too risky. And they but you need to demonstrate, no, that's not risky. So it's something that we need to do if we want to be ahead of our competitors. So you need to take all those technical information that you have and convert it into business. So in order to be ahead of the competitors, so we need to embrace technology. And it's safe. You need to demonstrate safe or not demonstrate. Yeah, but that's what I be at. So my hope size these things. Yeah, uh, PMO, we survive for the 5 years, but we need to do our homework. There's a lot of work to do in order to keep our organization alive, and they can be we rely on you helping them to be successful.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Tony. John has a question. Go ahead, John.
So, Dr. Fallon, I wanted to follow on the AI theme because where do you see AI? PMO is a strange animal. It can cover a lot of different aspects. Even in my own experience, I originally was process focused. Now I'm more value and visibility focused over my career. Like, because it's a strange animal, I don't see a natural play of AI will fit here. The other thing that is going to challenge is AI requires accurate data. And all of the PMOs that I've consulted on have horrible data. Most IT organizations, yes, we started it, we finished the project. There's no retrospective on cost overruns or schedule overruns or risks or any of that. So where do you see AI playing a part for the PMO outside of sort of a process director to say, here's what you should use when you start up a project?
Yeah, you mentioned something important about data. And for me, as I have too many years working in technology, I have seen a lot of transition and a lot of, I would say, panacea that this technology will resolve all the problem. I don't know if you work I think underneath the video. The panacea was the case. The computer is open generating tools. The case tools. So those tools, you don't need developers. So you only need to define, they have automation, define the requirement, and the system automatically will develop the application for the business. So the threat was for the software developers. They say, oh, you need to do for another job, Tony, because we don't need developers. The case tool, they will do everything. And even the users, the business user, they will be able to develop all the application they need. So the fourth generation languages, the fifth generation languages, but I still and they are software, their application that still they use code, the third generation language. So the same with AI, data is important. Uh, so the most important of data is to make sense of data. And that's how they want. For example, one of the biggest problem for any executive is to predict the future. That's what they want. They want to know if I launch these products, what gonna be the likelihood of success. Are we gonna sell more? Are we gonna sell these products? What gonna be the likelihood that we're gonna make the number in the third quarter? That's the concern that they didn't have. So they don't know the future. But with all the technologies, all the algorithm that we have with AI, so we're gonna be able to achieve that things. So it's like you are predicting the future based on data, and that capacity. So we have that today. And the PMO as a catalyst for change and a strategic partner. So you need to embrace this technology to use data to make sense for the executives. So we can do this project, but you can predict if we invest in project A, so we don't gonna have any benefits to allies. And you have the number. So this is the thing. So in the third quarter, we're gonna recover our investment. So that kind of thing is that we have the PMO to have, using the cost, like you are helping because you are providing me information, data, so I can be more assertive leader. I get that information, that data that I can be, I can anticipate the future. Exactly what's gonna happen if I make this decision versus the other decision. So in that case, when I see the PMO helping and connecting with C-suite, so they can be successful.
And that's an interesting question. I'll make a comment here. I have another question for you, Dr. Tony, about the AI as well. But this question that John just asked remind me of an experience that I had a while ago, right? Where uh, we were launching a new business credit card, and when we were talking to the project sponsors and why you want to do that, right? What is the benefit for the organization? They said, well, we have some credit cards here, but uh, they don't provide all the features that our clients are looking for, and they are not bringing the level of revenue we want because it's hard to sell. They are not as competitive as the other credit cards we have in the market, and all those things. So then it was one question that we asked after that was, okay, so do you know how much money, how much revenue you have today from the credit cards you have in your portfolio? So no. So what's your target then by doing this project? What do you want to achieve? Oh, we want to achieve a 30% increase on our revenue just by launching this new credit card. Okay, but if you cannot measure this today, how are you going to measure that tomorrow, right? So I think that was interesting because the very basic data that they need to prove the worth or prove the value of that project was not there, right? They were not measuring. So let alone using AI to make forecasts, or by launching this new product, we're going to be targeted this new uh, demographic, and therefore we're going to be increasing our revenue. Yeah, perhaps you can do that if you start buying data and using AI to help you with that. But I think before you can really leverage AI to help you with that, you have to have that foundational data, and make sure that you know what you want to measure and why you want to measure that, right? So it's just interesting because now we are talking so much about AI and all the benefits of AI, and they can be very, very beneficial. But like John said, a lot of the organizations, they don't even have the basic data yet, or the data is not reliable. So how can you really use AI to help you out with anything that is valuable?
Yeah.
Right. So, but Dr. Tony, I do have a question about AI, and of course, AI is here, and the companies are, investigating how to leverage AI. So, from a PMO perspective, right? How do you see AI helping the PMO, or maybe AI cannot help in a PMO, right? I just would like to hear your thoughts. Is AI an enabler of the PMO, or can AI be a disruptor for the PMO? What are your thoughts about AI?
Yeah, AI, I think, would be well. So one thing is the central project management. So we have the potential to use all of the do project management. All those tasks can be automated, creating schedules. The other day I was discussing about, for example, developing a schedule for a project. So that's a task that will take probably a couple of days to finalize a schedule. So now you can do it in hours. And if you have your schedule work fine, so you can do it in minutes. So that's one of the benefits, the automation piece of the different tasks that need to be done in projects. So the thing is, it's not about replacement. It's about be more productive. So let's say that you can work in 5 projects now. And I think the most organizations that have the opportunity to work, we always have backlog. Always there's a bunch of projects that we don't do it because we don't have the resources. So that's the benefits of the PMO is to how you reduce the backlog. Now with AI, you can be more efficient and your production rate will increase. So that's one benefit. And the other benefits of the AI that I was saying is how can we leverage on the data to predict the future, risk management, forecasting the ROI for the projects and the benefit realization of projects. So that's another things that we can use AI in those two areas. One is to increase the productivity. Now we can deliver more with less, and that all same operation do more with less. So we can do that with AI. So do you need more headcount? Probably you have 20 project managers on site, the project manager that I'm listening to me. But that maybe one may come. That's a value that you add. So the other day, somebody was telling me that they decided to decentralize uh, PMOs. So every business unit has their own PMO. Probably you're gonna say if you decentralize that more it's costly. So what about centralize, but now use AI to automate all of those things. So you're gonna deliver more with less. You don't need a lot of people to do that particular project because AI is helping you. So that's a value that the PMO can sell to the senior leader. So everything is how we put things in numbers in financial terms that the leaders they like that because everyone looking for that. How can I be more profitable? Using costs or increasing revenue. That's the major consensus. So if you bring that on the table, everyone wanna listen. So it's like if I talk to you, so Bruno, I have a good business for you. You only say, oh wow, that's a good thing. I have more money. So that's the major consensus in organizational leader. So that's what I see AI are developing. So if you haven't taken one of the courses that PMI offering, uh, the last one, the application for AI. So there's a lot of use cases. How can you leverage on those tools that are out there? This efficiency that we're looking for.
Excellent. So Dr. Tony, I'm just taking notes of everything that we have talked about so far, right? You talk about value-driven PMOs. We just talk about AI a little bit. I just want to go back for a moment to that question that Rodrigo asked about trust, right? And you explained that you earn trust by developing relationships, right? And that's something that AI, at least for now, cannot really do for you, right? You have to develop those relationships from the human aspect, right? The connections that you develop, right? But I think one of the things that we'll continue seeing as a trend is uh, this rearrangement of how people work together, right? So some companies are shifting to let's have everybody back to the office. Some other companies have adopted a more hybrid approach, and some other companies they continue with the remote approach for collaboration, right? And of course, that will impact the way that you develop relationships, right? So, for example, if you are a new PMO leader in a new organization and you are fully remote, maybe for you to develop relationships with your peers, with your executives, is going to be different, right? Or maybe more challenged because you don't have that face-to-face opportunity with those people. You don't have the opportunity to just grab a coffee with somebody or just go out for lunch. You have to schedule those events, right? So how do you see that relationship building happening in this new world that we are in evolving the next 5 years as well?
Yeah, it is being big change. I think COVID is one of the issue that human is facing. So a lot of organization and it's happened here in US ITO. I think the world will become as a lot of people say, no, you are crazy. but that's my feeling. And a lot of our great companies and each company here, they are with the policy RTO, return to office. Or you take it or you lose it. So no option. So I have a lot of friends. For example, one of the first one at the beginning of the year I started with RTO was JP Morgan, and they said by March 1st, everyone at the office, no exception. So the thing is that the world, in order we talk about the new normal. The new normal is like everybody is talking online and all kind of things, but that are impacting us, the human, because we have an ecosystem. So, for example, those people that they have small businesses like restaurants, coffee shops. So, with COVID, a lot of businesses they went to bankruptcy because they didn't have the people. So, in going out, there's a lot of things that happen to come back to normal. So, all the business, the economy start moving. So I know that it's a other problem associated with that because a lot of people they got used to work virtually. Um, but going back to the question, so how we develop a relationship. So the relationship in business is basically the same relationship that we have in the in life would be the love. So it's about connection. It's about a quality time. It's about you take care about the all other people. The same thing that I used to do when I went to the office to work. That I say good morning. When I said take care of the people about their own life. So we are human. So if you continue doing that, establishing sort of, for example, where we have meetings or the company that I used to work for in FIS Global. So we have a policy. It's all meetings, everyone need to have the camera. If you can have the camera, so you can be in the meeting. But everyone in the meeting, you need to have a camera on. So that I would say help to establish that connection because if I don't see your face, uh, at least so I don't only see bucket with the initial. So I'm talking to what? I'm talking to my own experience. So that kind of thing would need to be so it's that you need to have a intention to develop that relationship. It's that I care about Bruno. So now we can be together, but I took a phone, I talk to you, I hear your voice, you hear my voice. So we have a meeting, so I'm looking at your face, you're looking at my face. But if you have the opportunity as a leader to visit those key stakeholders, your customers, take a time, fly. Sometimes the company they don't want to pay for traveling. Well, maybe you need to invest on that. Take out of the pocket. Remember, if you want to be for a long time in the company, so you need to have those relationships. You need to see that's an investment. So I said, bro, my companies they don't gonna pay for the trip, but I wanna take a coffee with you. I wanna have a lunch with you or a dinner. So I wanna travel to your city, I mean Canada. But you need to look for those that need to be intentional. Because that if you want to be sustainable in the role that you are a leader. In order to have that kind of connection with other people, nothing replaces the human touch. Not technology, nothing replaces that. And so you need to pursue that. So I talk a lot about professional development and that's the human touch. For you, you are responsible for that. You want to have sustainable professional life in a company. So it's your responsibility to develop those relationships. The company, they don't care. So if you don't do the work, when they need to decide, also, hey, you bye-bye. So you are a number. So if you don't deliver, so But for us, if we want to establish a good relationship, so we need to invest in that.
Okay. I think John has another question. Go ahead, John.
So, Dr. Tony, one of the things, and as I've advised my clients, for a PMO, you need to have confidence. You need to have a charter or scope. And you also need to have a vision. And a lot of what we're talking about here today is, like any good consultant, you try to climb the ladder to where you can get to the C-suite. But a lot of companies, their PMOs are very confused. And so I'm curious where you draw the line on the PMO responsibility, because I've had clients who have said, you know what, the PMO is going to be the project process police. They're going to take meeting notes. You're going to do resource allocations, all of the administrivia that you would say, you know what, that really should be the IT organization to define your SDLC. The PMO needs to be focused on value and delivering that value. So in your mind, where do you draw that line of, yeah, the PMO should do this, the PMO definitely should not get this far into the junk, if you will?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question, and that's something that so I have the same question scenario many times. So the thing is, the organization would have politics, so they always to fight for fixing from one the other, and so one thing is that working with different organizations under for the company is that I see the senior leaders are the guilty for that kind of things, because every executive, they want to please the most important figure in the company, or the owner, or the CEO, or the shareholders. So if I don't do that, and let's say that I'm the VP of operations, the executive vice president of operations. So my bonuses are attached to my performance. So that's a big problem. So it's attached to my performance. My bonuses should be attached to the success of the entire organization, not my silo. So that's one of the things that make people fight. So this project is more important than your project. And everyone, they want just to please the CEO because that's the way the organization is structured. So the PMO is in that game. So you need to use your influencing skill, so you have the glue to connect everyone in the same page and see that you are value to everyone. So I want John. So I hoping you to be successful. So I know that you are fighting for that bonus at the end of the year, or maybe you are fighting to be a still employee at the organization. So I'm gonna help you to be successful. So if you are, let's say that I'm the PMO director, and you trust me, and we have built that relationship, and you trust Tony, yeah, Tony's gonna help you. So if you develop relationship, so they so that's a stakeholder engagement, but we using project management, we need to use the stakeholder engagement on the PMO customer. And that way you will develop that everyone. So one of the things that I said to a lot of people is, now I see the majority of the PMO leaders, they are begging for attention. Me, because yeah, so when we went to Istanbul, there was a session that they were asking, there was one question, is like, what happened if, so who gonna miss you if the PMO is disappeared? I think that was the session that we attended. So a lot of people were saying that everything is the seat or sweet military, so they are responsible because they don't support us. So if they support you, it's not because you are not relevant for them, So you are begging, please put me attention. It's like they're young kids. You put paying attention. I want to say something, but no, I don't have time for you. So that's the big problem that we have. But that requires young to develop those relationships that what you bring to me is relevant. So I want to talk to you. How do you, for example, I like golf. I play golf. If I hear the word golf, I say, oh, John, do you play golf? What are you handicap? I would have talked to you. So you need to look for those small things that connect to the people to start developing those relationships. A lot of people, no, I don't play golf. Well, but your boss, the big boss, he like golf. Playing how to play golf. That's a good thing. But definitely, each challenge is not easy. So we need to make it happen. So if you want to be relevant in the organization, you mentioned about things, and also Bruno. So I have written three things that is important. So you need to switch your mindset to be outcome driven. Forget about projects. Projects is too down. If you want to be on the top, you need to change your mindset to be outcome driven. ROI, or ROA. So all of those things, customer satisfaction there. Uh, so there was an interesting research that PMI did about project success. So in there, they found out in that research what the executives are looking for. So what is success for me? So you need to understand that. What is success for your organization? What is success for the leaders? The other thing is that you need to become, so you hear about that information, knowledge is power. So you need to become the information and data hub for decision making. That anyone in the organization that want to do a decision, they're gonna go to you. So you need to have the ownership of the data. So anyone that want to know something, they need to go to the PMO leader. And the other thing is to adopt a portfolio mindset. To think about investment. Projects are investment. Projects are not projects. So we don't do projects for the sake of doing projects. Projects are investment. And you need to deal with that as an investment. So think about portfolio, not think about projects. So that would make a lot of sense for senior leadership.
That's excellent. Dr. Tony, I want to thank you and thank everybody who joined us today. I can't believe we just spent 1 hour talking about this. I couldn't cover even half of the questions I had for you. I think we need another 3 hours to cover all that. But no, it was very insightful. I really like your points about value-driven PMO, AI relationships, outcome-driven, knowledge is power, portfolio mindset. I took notes of all that. So that's very nice of you sharing that knowledge and that experience with us, Dr. Tony. Once again, thanks to everybody who joined us today. We are going to have another webinar on March 5th. I'm going to be talking to a good friend of mine. His name is Ahmed Humier. He's the head of the enterprise PMO at Bubia Bank in Kuwait. And also he's one of the PMO Global Alliance's regional experience leaders. So it's going to be a great conversation. We're going to be talking about trust, Rodrigo. So can your PMI survive without trust? So that's going to be an interesting conversation on March 5th. So we're going to be sharing more information about that and how you guys can sign up for that conversation as well. But thanks again, Dr. Tony. I will be sharing the recording of this webinar soon. And of course, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to post on LinkedIn or on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again on March 5th. Thanks. Have a great day.